that. And down straight, no long.
Fuck out the way. Fuck out the way. Fuck out the way. Fuck out the way.
That was on a Lil Jon.
I want you folks laughing at we partners pod, kid. You understand? We in here drinking, singing, swinging, all that shit, dog. You sweating, getting wet, all that.
All right. Welcome to the 81st episode of the Drinking Partners Podcast. Yes, this is our Randy Moss episode because he wore 81 when he had 23 touchdown receptions that year with Tom Brady. And I feel like that's what happened. Two greats linked up and we made this podcast. Which one of us is Randy Moss? I'm Randy Moss. You're Tom Brady.
I fuck Tom Brady.
But you are Tom Brady.
Come on, man. I'll throw it up and you score.
Exactly.
Or
something like that.
Yeah.
Pause. A little bit.
Fuck Tom Brady, by the way.
I was just going to say because you had a white girlfriend. I felt like that solidified you because Randy Moss might have a white girlfriend, but I'm straight cash, homie. I am half of your hosting tandem, Ed Bailey. I'm joined as always with my co-host, Dave Bracey. Say what up to the people.
What's good with you people? We are Drinking Partners, and if you're looking for us, we're on epicastnetwork.com/partnerspod. You can find us on Facebook, IG, and Twitter at PartnersPod. And you can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Libsyn, and also Google Play.
Oh, yeah.
Under Drinking Partners.
We dealing with Google now.
Yeah. 81 episodes, man. You know what I mean? We spanning a little bit, but we still need those rates and reviews, peoples. Please hop on iTunes. It takes like 30 seconds, man. Rate and review. That's how we know that we're doing well. That's how we let others know that we're doing well, and that's how we continue to do well. So please, rate and review on iTunes, man.
Hey, I always said, you love us. You tell us you love us. Now just tell the world.
Truth.
So what you got us drinking on, Dave? You got us on like a variety.
So we had a little cookout, you know what I mean, yesterday.
Shout out to Day. I lost today and his girl in spades. So I was hot about that.
Spades and cornhole.
I don't want to talk about cornhole. Doesn't count. I don't play that.
I was undefeated
I play
last night.
spades. I don't play cornhole. Yeah. You'll never see me on the cornhole court again.
Yeah, no, it was, but we, shout out to everybody that came out. Everybody brought, some great beers and whatnot. So I'm always left with a lot of alcohol after I throw a gig, which is indicative of having good people around you. I mean, like if you had a hood spot, motherfuckers is like, what you got?
Be bone dry.
You know what I mean?
You throw a party there, you be bone dry. You don't be having bread left.
Niggas will walk in with a 40, like you just brought yourself a 40, nigga. And then when that run out, you look in, you know what I mean? Like, so it's always nice to have, too much food, too much booze at the end of it. So I was fortunate enough to just make a mixed 6-pack that I brought to the show with some local favorites. We got Voodoo. We got some Cali favorites, Stone. Shout out to Stone.
Yeah, shout out to Stone. We had them on.
Killer Pills from Voodoo, the Voodoo Love Child, which is in my top 5 beers of all time personally, and Stone Ruination, which is a beast of an IPA. It's if you're a fan of IPAs, it is.
Is that what you're drinking now, or is that this gold one?
Right now, I'm drinking a Grand Met from Voodoo Brewery.
Okay.
It's a Belgian style. It's 9.2. You know how Voodoo do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You know how Voodoo.
You know how Voodoo.
We got to sell them that T-shirt. You know how Voodoo.
Hey, holla at us,
Mark
man.
it now. Episode 81. No, if they come out with that T-shirt, they owe us some writing credits.
You heard it here first.
What do we put? The little R in the circle or the TM? What do we got to do?
I don't know. We got to hire somebody to figure that out, man.
I need an attorney. Along with rating reviews, if you could recommend some good attorneys for copywriting, please leave that in the
dropping
comments.
These jewels.
Dropping these jewels over
Sew this up. Hey, and by the way, you can advertise with us. You can have these. Uh-oh. You can have all of these, man. Hit us up. We reach about 500,000 per month.
Yes.
So if you're looking to get your product out there and you want some original content to go with that, some of these catchphrases that we be throwing out here on a regular. Holler at us, man. Our packages are very cheap because we new, so get it while it's it's hot and it's low. Because like Verizon, 2 years from now, it might go up. You know what I mean? So get it at the basement price, man.
I love how Sprint Lost the Verizon dude.
Yeah, brought the Verizon dude. Yeah.
And then fucking Verizon hit him with the big joker and brought out Jamie Foxx.
Oh,
You ain't see the commercial with him? He's Jamie Foxx, but he's Future, and he's he's like Future. His Future was in the movie Life. Like, that's what he was. Like, damn, that I ain't never seen a company play the big joker. That's a well-placed big joker.
That's what is that? Academy Award winning, Grammy nominated.
That's troll of a lifetime.
Yeah,
because Sprint was feeling themselves when the Verizon dude was. When
I saw the Verizon dude, I was like, wait,
it's no longer can you hear me now? Can you see me now? Next thing you know, a week later,
like we've expanded past the phone, brother.
We got real celebrities in our shit.
Wow. So but holla at us, folks, and shout out to all those breweries that I mentioned, and also shout out to Green Flash for sponsoring the last Epic Night of Comedy.
Oh, yeah. Wonderful.
It was a great night. Shout out to everybody that came down and whatnot. Shout out to Mark Caesar coming up from New Orleans for that show. It was a great crowd once again, and Green Flash made it even better. They came through and got the crowd completely shit-faced.
The crowd, everybody was crawling out of there.
Yeah, it was.
I don't even think the Green Flash dude was working after half hour. He might have been crawling too.
It was a great time, man. Great brews. So look for that next one down at Playwright Theater. Shout out to Mark Southers.
Yeah. At Piss Your Pants on Twitter, funny guy, man, getting that New Orleans comedy scene popping. Yo, it was dope to work with him. Dope to have him come up. Dope to see his fade. He had an urban neighborhood fade.
Yeah.
Like, you could tell he was from New Orleans. That fade was crisp.
Like history behind history of comfortable niggas.
Yeah. He got a celebrity barber.
Yeah.
He got a Diddy barber. Your curls is tight and your fade is right. Pause.
True.
I don't even know if I could say that to another man. I hope he's not listening right now. Sorry, Mark.
Shout out to Mark Caesar. Shout out to Mark Southers, another good Mark. He actually won Comeback Theater through the Pittsburgh Magazine or whatever. I mean,
it's a dope theater. Like, if you're in Pittsburgh and you're looking for a night or something to do, definitely check out the Playwrights Theater, preferably when we're down there. But if not, they throw some great plays down there. I think they were doing Fences right before we, I think that ended. They got something coming up now that's going to run through August.
Yeah, and Mark Southers, he's produced a few plays down at August Wilson Center. He's been a playwright for decades.
Oh, he's
now.
dabbling in the comedy now too.
Yeah, and and it's nice. And I keep telling people, man, support local shit, man. Your artists, your business, and whatnot. Like, you pay $80, $90, $100, $200 for Beyonce, and all these imports. You know what I mean? It's just like a country. It's just like any type of business, any kind of economy. If you're paying more for imports than you are exports, then eventually, your local scene dies. Like, you need to support local shit, and then it's super easy to do. You got somebody, selling t-shirts for $15. Why pay $30, $40 online for a t-shirt when you got a dude sitting right here on the hustle?
Hey man, I'm with you up until that point. No, we going with it. I'm not gonna take any t-shirt advice from you, but I will say, if you're buying local owned brands, it's a dope thing. I wouldn't go to LA and buy a local brand, but yeah, if you're here, get one from here. You know what I'm saying? Definitely support the local shows.
Support the local scene.
So much talent in Pittsburgh, and I'm not from here, and I say that, and that takes a lot from a Clevelander to say.
Yeah, it's
I'm part of the talent. Obviously.
Yeah.
I'd like to say that I'm a huge part of the talent pool.
We have something to do.
We got a little bit to do with it with our show.
I don't know. We around. We know some people.
We be places.
But yeah, support the local scene, man.
What else we got coming up?
We actually have. So this will be out after our first Comtra Theater show up in Cranberry, but we have a new monthly show up in Cranberry at the Comtra Theater. It's the Epic Night of Comedy. You know what I mean?
You're getting the same value.
You're getting the same. We're hosting
quality.
it. We're featuring, and we're bringing in the best talent. But for that northern crowd, if you're in the Wexford, Sewickley, Cranberry, Butler area, Beaver, if you're up there in the northern hills or whatever, come holler at us. Now you ain't got to go all the way down to the Improv. You ain't got to go all the way into the city to see comedy, because we're bringing it to you. And our first
to your front door.
Our first headliner is Billy Crawford. So
I don't know if he likes Billy.
We don't go. We got to go Bill.
He's not a Billy. I don't look at Crawford and see a Billy.
He not a Billy.
Billy was at that Chesney concert last night.
Yeah.
Bill was somewhere.
Bill had a button up on,
drinking some voodoo,
some nice loafers at a high end brewery.
He's a Nike free run guy. So Bill got some swag about him.
Yeah, he do.
He bring that swag to WDV. So definitely, if you miss out on this one, look out for us, man. We out at Contra. Listen, closed mouths don't get fed. Holler at us. You want us to be somewhere? We show up.
Yeah.
We show up and we bring that quality.
Yeah, and look for that show up at Contra Theater at ContraTheaterTicketLeap.com. I mean, that's a monthly show, so look out for it.
So we got to work on our segues. Let me think of a good segue.
So we got beer news.
We have beer news.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Now, this is definitely Dave's portion of the podcast. It has nothing to do with this beer news.
I mean, this is going to be coming out in a few weeks, but just this past weekend, Butler Brew Works over in Butler, actually, a good friend of mine, Linda Mossum. She is.
They were at Beers of the Berg, I think. Did we see them down there?
Beers of the Berg, yeah. Linda Moss, also a.k.a. Linda Mossum. I mean, she is part of that whole crew, and they just opened up beer up in Butler. So shout out to Butler Brew Works, man. That's been, a few years in the making, man. She hit me up and was like, yo, you guys got to come up and podcast out. I was like, where? She's like, we're opening up a spot. I was like, wait. Like, it's weird when your friend just hit you up like, yeah, by the way, we got this brewery popping. Like, it's such a cool.
That's a good friend to have.
Yeah, it's such a cool thing because, like, it makes you feel like an adult. Like, we're doing cool shit now. Like, we're just opening up shit that we've been.
Now you have a reason to go get fucked up with your friends. I don't have to explain this to my woman.
Yeah.
He owns a brewery. What did you think was going to happen? Of course I'm taking a lift out there. I'm not driving home.
True. I mean, so shout out to them. I mean, look out for that. If you're in the Butler area or if you're traveling through the Butler area, shout out to Butler Brew Works. So.
Oh, we got more beer news. I think Buzzy said Voodoo.
Voodoo and Erie. Oh, yeah,
Voodoo
I did hear
opening.
about that. Yeah.
Just voodoo it.
That's just going to make Erie. Erie is such a fucking great place to drink, man. And, like, it's a shitty place to live. Don't live in Erie.
I think the shittiest places to live are the best places to drink.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense.
Seasonal depression is tough to combat, and beer helps out a lot.
Yeah.
So, Erie's a very shitty place. Most people try to get the fuck out of Erie as fast as possible. I spent 6 months up in Erie. It was like more like 4 months. And, I had like talked to a few people, and I had never met anybody that was like, oh, yeah, I love Erie. I'm here for life. Everybody had just had this backstory, like, oh, I'm trying to get out. Like, oh, my car broke down, and I ended up getting a job to pay for it. And, and it turned into like a 6-year thing. But, I'm on my way out.
What's in Erie?
Like, beer. That's it now.
Okay.
And when I was there, they didn't have beer. So now they've got like 6 or 7 breweries up there on that, I think it's like the Trail or Erie Trail or whatever, but it's a lot of good shit. And Voodoo's up there. Lake Erie Ale Works. They're up there. Few Lavery. Shout out.
I'm never
to,
going just to Erie. I'm
Yeah, no,
visiting
you-
a brewery and I'm getting the hell up out
You
of
want to do the tour. You want to spend about maybe 6-7 hours up there and then get the fuck home.
Damn.
Yeah.
So we won't be podcasting any place in Erie. We burning bridges here.
But we love the brew, man.
We love the beer.
Voodoo and Lavery and those brews up there, they make stellar shit. There's a lot of shout out to the Pittsburgh breweries or whatever, and that, like I said, Western Pennsylvania. I've had some Eastern ales. Western Pennsylvania really holds it down when it comes to PA brews, man. I'll put our belt up in Western PA to Eastern PA any day, man.
Speaking of belts and holding it down, Western PA holds down the athletic realm.
Yeah, we do.
And we have a standout athlete that Dave Bracey.
Man, I'm a big fan of this guy. I've been, we linked up mutual, acquaintances and whatnot. We followed each other's careers over the few years and whatnot. And this guy is mad interesting. I think I'm an interesting fella, but this motherfucker is a boxer. Signed to Roc Nation. He's 12-0, number 29 in the nation. He's also a physicist and a vet.
Shit.
Hey, everybody, give it up for Ed Latimore, man.
Hey,
say what up to the people.
Say what up to the people. Hold on, say what up to the people.
What up, people? Hey, you got on, man. I'm sitting here cracking up this whole 10 minutes on the couch. 10 or maybe longer than that. These guys are hilarious. Easily, there's nothing I can say to follow this introductory react. All they're doing is just talking, just a regular day, man. They must be hilarious.
This dude sound like the best man at your wedding. What He was bringing out. You a physicist?
I'm in school for physics, so I got one year left in my degree. So then I'll be. Right now, I like to tell people I'm a physicist-in-training. It's just shorter to say physicist. But yeah.
He's got more years in it than just about anybody listening to this podcast right now. How about that?
Man, I took physics 1 year in high school, and we was learning how to send emails. I don't even know how the fuck that had anything to do with physics, honestly. But I got an A in that class, and I got the hell up out of there. So that helps with boxing, I guess, right? Inertia? Is that even physics at this point?
That is.
Physics? Oh, hell. I would imagine. You know what? I didn't even put the two together until you just said that.
But
physics
yeah,
and boxing.
how's it help? Sometimes it help. I don't have any natural boxing talent, man. All these guys talking about they're great athletes, man. I'm just learning how to play basketball. That's not a joke. Like, I didn't even know you could learn how to play basketball. I thought you were just born and you knew how to do it, but I'm learning because it helps with boxing.
Came out of the womb with a ball.
And how that's related is there's a lot of movement, a lot of stuff I got to think through for boxing, for basketball, the same way I break down physics, because all physics does is take a big thing and model it with a small thing, and once you can understand that small thing, you add parts to it, and you keep getting closer and closer to the thing you're actually trying to model. Right, and that's all we're doing in boxing. I know I gotta punch this guy in the head, and I gotta knock him out, right, or beat him on points. So we start small, and I gotta move a little better than him, and so I work on my foot movement. That's the first thing you start with, and you can't win a fight if you lose the fight, right? So we learn to keep our hands up. We learn to stay in shape because you can't drive the car if you're out of gas. So you got to get your wind up. You got to get your gas going. So, you start with the basics and you keep modeling and building. And then you learn enough. And then one day, all of a sudden, the Chinese got this awesome saying about stuff. After years of hard work, talent may suddenly appear. And now I feel like I know what I'm doing.
Talent may suddenly appear. I like that. I like the way you phrase that, because a lot of people go, "Oh, he must be gifted." I remember you had mentioned that. You had spoken, because we follow each other with Twitter, and we get into it all the time. And this is one I actually enjoy, like, sparring with him, verbally, not physically, because I'm a very frail dude.
Don't use the term spar. This dude put you through a wall. You don't want to spar with him.
But online or whatever, and we have a lot of similar views or whatever. But we also have, just like anybody, we have this back and forth, and it's always of the mind, and we have like an understanding, and it's always amicable, and we learn. You know what I mean?
We learn. I called him on Facebook. I said he is the Professor X to my Magneto. That is how I feel about it.
Please do not be giving this dude props like that. You got this dude head so swollen right now. Pause.
But you were saying how, like, talent may suddenly appear, and like, it's not suddenly, like, I wasn't born with this. I worked for this. Like,
earn, not given.
So bad. I mean, I can't even tell you how bad I was when I first started boxing, and how bad I was for a long time. Even when I was winning, I was just a little better. But like now, I feel like I was telling you earlier, man, the guy we're supposed to fight on the 15th, I knew I was a little better than him. I mean, but now I don't know how he's gonna last. And that's not a boast or brag. I just know I have such control over my body, and I know what to do, and I'm so calm that when we're in there fighting, I mean, he'll get hit and he'll go, "Wow, we're in a real fight." And I'm like, yeah. And the difference is I trained to be in a real fight, and I hope you did too, because it's going to be a long night. But I'm prepared for that scenario. That's not boasting or bragging. That's just like me visualizing and going, okay, I know how to play this out. And
but can you be in a ring with another man that's trying to take your fucking face off, right? And not have I'm gonna beat you the fuck down mentality. I mean, boxing,
can
you have a shred of doubt, like, I might not make it?
Is the sport where the bravado is accepted and kind of it's expected. Like, you gotta have that
expected and accepted. And that's gonna be my weakness. I already know that, because that's not me. I can't fake it. I don't care about words. I tell people all the time. People get into it with me, and I'm the guy fighting. I tell people all the time, I don't see the point in talking shit. You about to be in a contest where it don't matter what you say. You can get your ass beat in front of a bunch of people. So it don't matter what you say. So I just don't understand it, right? But I get selling tickets for it.
But see, here's the thing, though. Like, you don't have to be like, you have to have the mentality, I'm going to beat you up.
Yes.
Just because you don't say it doesn't mean that you don't have it.
That
and the
belief.
difference between that and saying it is the fact that you have the confidence. It's real confidence. Like, you have put the work in.
The real work.
Because there's a difference between cocky and confidence. Cocky is just a
Cocky's
bravado
a projection.
flash with nothing behind it. You're confident because you've put the work in.
put the work
and you go
in.
in with that mentality.
And the
You see what I'm
time,
saying?
and you can tell this is my favorite part of fighting, the stare down, because you get 3 guys in these stare downs. You get the guys that try and look past you and don't make eye contact, and I'm like, you already lost.
Yeah.
You get the guys that are like kind of looking at you, but you can tell, like, or you could just jump, make a little jump, like, ugh, like you used to do in the yard when you were a kid about to fight,
Yeah.
and you could tell they're just antsy. That guy's beat. It's fake. It's fake confidence. He's not real. The guy you got to worry about is the guy that's like, I don't know any like concrete way to put this, so it's gonna sound a little esoteric. He is staring into your soul. Like when I look at a guy, I want him to feel like I don't even care if he's there or not. I'm looking at his soul, and that's what I'm taking.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm not. That is when you know you're in a fight. And I've yet to fight at the professional level. I've yet to fight anyone like that. There are a few guys like that in the amateurs I fought. But it changes. You work all this way to get to the national level. I gotta get a national title as an amateur, and then you start over. My coach said it the other day. Your first 10 guys you fight as a pro will be easier than the last 10 guys you fight as an amateur, which makes perfect sense. Right?
And you agree with that? I mean, you're 12-0, I guess. So did that stand to be true?
Yes, and you know what? My toughest fight to date is a guy that you can't go by the record, man. You can never go by the record because each guy's a step up and has a set of abilities. It's like taking a test. You're not supposed to fail the test. Something went wrong if you fail it. But the test should be hard enough to challenge your abilities to show that you know what you're doing, so they can give you another test harder that's worth more money, ideally. I fought this guy, Jamal Woods, and I don't remember where Jamal was from, but Jamal's record, when I was trying to explain to people, he's 8-23, right? And you hear that record without knowing anything about the sport, and you're like, where you going to get out of this fighting this guy that's 8-23? Well, all of his wins are KOs, right? Not TKOs. TKOs is when a ref comes in and waves it off, or you stand up and answer the count after getting knocked down, but the ref goes, we're not sure and waves it off. No, KO, man, he's stoning guys, right?
Yeah.
Putting them to sleep. They are out, knocked out.
Nighty-night.
That was the first time I've been real hit. Like, I got hit when I debuted, and I was just getting used to the speed at a professional level. So it wobbled me. Nah, he hit me in the 3rd round of my rib, and I said, like, I was sitting there like, we're in a real fight now. He hit me in my rib, and then he tried
You had one of them. This nigga not playing.
Yeah,
moments.
Does it go from sport to like, I'm actually fighting for like
that's
my
the
life
biggest.
type
That's
thing.
the
Like,
biggest change. Each fight, you get a little better. When I first turned professional, in my mind, it was still a sporting contest, and it is still a sporting contest. You still got to train with discipline and approach it like it's a skilled thing. But at the end of the day, if he hits me in the balls twice and the ref don't see it, what I'm gonna do? Give him the timeout? No, it's a fight.
Yeah.
We're in there to hurt one another.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, you know, we respect it because we both signed on the dotted line. Understand? We in there trying to kill each other. The rules of boxing prevent it from going that far, hopefully. But the whole idea is you're in there in a fight and you're not skilled. And now, my last fight, I understood that. I broke the guy's rib. He was scheduled for a fight the next week. He had to call out that fight because I was like, we're in a fight. We get clenched up, I'm going to hit you everywhere I can hit you that the ref can't see. And I'm going to wait for the ref to penalize me.
Yeah.
We're not going, because that's what you got to do.
It's better to ask for forgiveness than beg for permission.
If I'm a loser.
So that's what interests me most about fighting, the psyche of, okay, there's this mutual respect, but there's this physical confrontation. And in most walks of life, a physical confrontation comes from a lack of respect. So how do you, like, do boxers have relationships with each other outside of the ring? And
You know
do you
what?
just have to retire and then just respect the man's record?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, because you like basketball players, right? Like, there was just this video came out, Dwayne Wade and his wife, LeBron James and his wife, and Chris Paul and his wife. They're all on a yacht. They're dancing and shit like that. You never see that with boxers. Like, you never, like, with professional boxers, just see them hanging out. They're always at a fight. Like,
Yeah.
do boxers even like other boxers? I can't like a nigga that hit me 240. Like, if I look at the stats and you punch me 247 times, like, I don't know a person in the world that's punched me 247 times.
I mean, Rocky and old boy seemed to work it out. Creed,
Creed, yeah.
Rocky and Creed.
Here's the way
That was Creed's son, and I don't even think his son had a relationship with his father in that movie. So
the way I describe it to people is like, there's a bunch that I am at least as an amateur. The pros is a little different game, but I haven't met anyone. I wouldn't kick it with most of them because we just different kinds of people. But that's got nothing.
You're a physicist. I'd imagine most of them are not physicists.
Very different nerdy hobbies, man. Right? So not really to kick it. But if one of them guys called me and was like, "Yo, I'm in town, I need a place to stay," I would invite him to come sit with my family for dinner. Like it's that kind of respect. It's like going through war with somebody. I'd imagine.
Right.
You understand? Pain bonds people, man. Pain bonds people better than an enjoyable experience.
You're two like-minded creatures in the sense that you both
to
have a certain thing that you're pursuing that is very similar or akin to each other. You're into the same things. You know, lions hang with lions, sheep hang with sheep. You know what I mean? So I get that.
But it's a respect.
Relationships,
but will we be kicking it?
Because you might have to fight this guy.
I don't think I've had guys block me on Facebook. Nothing personal, but we're both heavyweights. It's in their best interest to block me. Because I'm gonna look at stuff, and guys like to post stuff, and and they should do the same to me. I don't think you'll ever see two guys in the same division gunning for the title at the same level, because not everybody's created equal. There's some guys are opponents, some guys are contenders, some guys are gatekeepers, but I don't think you're ever gonna see two contenders chilling. It's an odd dynamic,
because you have to actually, like, in basketball I compete against your skill set, and in boxing it's the same, but in basketball your skill set has nothing to do with hurting me.
Exactly.
And in boxing I just can't hang with somebody.
To think, like, in other sports, even hockey, there's a limit to how much you can get away with fighting.
Because they can, yeah.
You know, and in boxing we are trying. You're right. That's how you win around. That's the biggest point. Give her damage, even or knock a guy out. So I can't. Two contenders now. Guys that have fought before, you see that all the time. Guys that have fought.
So when you say contender, you mean like a bout coming up?
Yeah, I'm talking about two guys that are ranked by various organizations and will probably or most likely fight one another in the future.
In the future, okay.
Not a guy that's a contender, a gatekeeper, a guy that's an opponent. You can kick it with those guys. They don't represent threats.
Yeah.
But a guy that you will have to fight and will come prepared. We're not talking about an opponent that takes a fight on 3 or 4 weeks' notice. We're talking about a guy that gets the full 6 to 8 and is ready, has been thinking about ripping your head off for 2 months. Yeah, you can't hang with that guy.
I can't. So let's talk about this stare down that you love so much. I know when it seems like. So here's my view of boxing, just from an outside looking in. It seems like on the amateur level, you're looking at a lot hungrier fighters. People are fighting very much more often. You said you fought a guy, broke his rib. He had a fight scheduled the next week. You get to these professional levels, it's about money. They're fighting once every 6 months.
Yeah.
The stare down is this huge spectacle where it feels fake. On the amateur level, this stare down, how intense is that?
I haven't fought an amateur fight in 4 years, but I'm trying to remember. But I think at the amateur level, I don't think there's a stare down. I think they introduce us from the corner, bring us in the touch gloves, and then walk away. At the professional level, it's literally the opposite. They bring us in the center of the ring after the introduction, and then they say, we went over the rules in the dressing room. Your belt line, man, nah, he ain't doing that. That's giving the pageantry reasoning.
Okay.
Because the real reason you're bringing us to the center of the ring is that psychological. That's when the battle started. I mean, the fight started.
It's for hype. It's for hype too. For me,
psychological.
It is hype for the viewer. Like, I see these two guys. They're bare chested. They're all big as fuck, looking at each other, and it's just like, oh yeah, they really want to fight. They really want to fight.
And some guys can't handle it.
It's the same thing with, like, I mean, when you do like a football, and when you line up, like, I mean, when you play sport, like, like when you line up and you got to like touch or whatever. I mean, just that stare down. Like, I imagine it's the same because you're about to. And like in football, this motherfucker really might end your career or your life today.
They only come together at a coin toss.
Yeah, that's a coin toss.
Much more
at the
friendly
beginning
environment. They're smiling, shaking.
Oh yeah,
whatever.
no, I don't think that it's on the same level as
Hell
a motherfucker
no.
that's trying to tear your face off with his knuckles.
All fights should start that way. I feel like every fight in the world should start with a stare down because you would eliminate a lot of the fights.
Well, see, here's the thing, though, man. Like, and in the real world, if a nigga's staring you down, he's probably not going to hit you.
Yeah.
Like, that's the difference.
Oh, exactly.
I hate
That's
a
why I said you
motherfucker
would
that is
eliminate
loud
most
as
of the
shit.
fights.
And it's like, come on, like I know you ain't about
Like,
the
you know
nigga.
the type, loud as a motorbike, but
Yeah,
what's a
great bit of fruit
that's
fight.
fight.
Yeah, and that's real life shit. Anytime I hear like a big ruckus, that's just a motherfucker trying to draw attention to try to hold him back so he doesn't have to do what the
I
fuck he
was
really
just
wants to
telling
fucking do.
somebody, I was like, look, man, you got to understand, real terrorists ain't sending bomb threats,
Yeah.
man. They just blowing shit up.
Yeah, they ain't no motherfucker that's gonna shoot you. Ain't like I'm about to shoot the fuck out of you. Like he's just and he's out. Like you know what I mean.
What kind of gun was that?
That was a 22. That was a 22 out of Harlem Nights. Yo, stop shooting that little.
So at what point? And I hate the cliche question where you got to ask the origins of how you got into it. But at what point do you go from At what point do you decide like I'm going to pursue boxing seriously? Are you already in boxing and you're like, okay, I'm going to do it, or I mean, were you just doing it kind of as a discipline type thing?
As far as I can't
speak.
speak for everybody, but here's my little story, the abridged version with the main points highlighted. I had just got out of a relationship where I didn't do anything for myself. I was like, let me go do something for myself. I was 23. I was like, I really want to box, really want to try it. So I walked into the gym, and my mentality about doing anything is you got to get beat out of it. You got to be proved. It's got to show you it's not for you. That's probably the only reason why I'm still doing physics, right? Because it's a hard thing. But I committed. I was like, I'm here. I already did a semester. Now I have to finish, right? So that was my mentality with boxing. So now that I'm there and I've committed and I've kind of like, drew the line in the sand, now I got to just stick with it. So at that point, my life starts to move around boxing. I took, or rather did not take jobs because as an amateur, I wanted to be able to fight. I drove a car that was so dirty, all they had to do was look at me and pull me over, and like the end, right? It still got habits from that, looking 3 cars behind me to see where the cops are.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
so at that point, I don't want to say I always had aspirations to be pro. I would say I always had aspirations to be the best, and wherever my cap was going to be, I was going to find it.
Okay.
And I'm fortunate because it seems that my cap is a lot higher than I even anticipated.
That's good.
When I first came into it, it's a great feeling because let's turns out let's say I never got out the national level, right? I never get there. I can't make it past the local club tournaments. Great. That's the best I can be. All right. And I tried it, time to pop on to something else because boxing won't pay the bills, right? But I've been very fortunate, not just when I was born, but where I was born and what division I was born into. Heavyweight division it's a lot softer right now. So I was able to, at 23, with hard work and picking the right people around me, excel and move into a position. Because if I was in a different weight class, the learning curve would be too steep and I would get beat before I could learn. I've been fortunate enough to learn because the competition is weaker than average. If I was born in like the 80s,
it seems like boxing has moved away from the heavyweight division, more to the middleweight, the more athletic.
And you know why that is? And it's not so much that they're more athletic and speedier, but the athletic and speedier guys that are over 200 pounds, you know where they're at? The MLB, the NFL, the NHL. There's just more money and it's an easier life.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? You think about it, 200 pounds is a really large human.
Yes,
You don't really think of it that way. You know what I mean? Because I'm thinking 200 pounds is a running back.
I don't want to. Shout out to my 200 plus ladies out there because y'all, you know what?
Y'all are large humans. I don't give a fuck. I'm not going to lie to you. Listen.
You know what?
He's always,
big people know they
I don't
big.
lift
and
weights.
he's always
ladies.
putting something on Twitter about these.
I
Big
don't lift weights,
women-
ladies. But
Big women know
the
they
bedroom.
big. I ain't say big was bad.
in the
I ain't
bedroom,
say big wasn't
I'll get them
beautiful.
squats in. You know what I mean,
Oh, the African, the old nigga squat from baby.
I'll I'll get those squats in
Get
laid.
your Ving Rhames on. Listen, man.
But yeah, 200 pounds.
You 200 pounds. You 200 pounds. You big. You bigger than the average human. Because you see these middleweights.
Well, 200 pounds muscle is fucking huge. You know what I mean? Like, 'cause, I mean, that like it just fills over it, but the muscle that's a lot of
200 pounds of flubber is 200 fucking pounds. I don't give a damn.
Yeah, but it's easy to roll around in. You know what I mean? Like, this is more cuddly. Like, this nigga ain't cuddly. He's not a cuddly dude.
Listen,
like,
I ain't met a dude in the world that I'm gonna describe as cuddly. I'm gonna tell you that right now. We gonna get that established early in this podcast. You ain't never gonna have somebody I'm calling cuddly. All right, but what I'm saying is, if you 200, what was they doing on that? Y'all ever see the World Star Hip Hop the questions series where they just walk around and just ask people questions and then fuck them up?
Yeah, I've seen it.
And they was like, "What's heavier, 200 pounds of cotton, 200 pounds?"
Yeah.
Whatever. It's 200 fucking pounds, man.
It is. One's fluffier
Most
than the
humans
other.
aren't 200 pounds.
I appreciate
It's just
the fluffier
weird
ones.
that in boxing that's considered a heavyweight, and in other sports that is probably the average weight of an individual.
With the exception of what? Football, you get your linemen. Now running backs are tipping 215.
I never thought of it like that, though, for you to
But
say most 200-pound athletes are moving into those.
On top of that, heavyweight division, I'm small for heavyweight. And I'm 6'1", like 220. If you're 6, then that's small, so which means the average is like 6'3", 6'4".
Yeah.
If you are
The average
6'4",
man is like 5'9".
if you are 6'4", 230 pounds and playing a sport, if they got you early enough, you're on the gridiron or on the court. I mean,
Yeah,
you're just not.
LeBron James out this motherfucker. What is he, 6'6", 6'7"?
LeBron James
He's like
is
6'8",
250, runs like a
look,
gazelle.
If LeBron decided he wanted to be heavyweight champ of the world, he's so athletic, it'll probably take him 2 years of real training.
Very hard to hit.
He can go in just about any sport. He could just except maybe hockey. I don't know how his his skates is, but
what Chris Rock say?
He be out there hitting the puck with his dick.
Speaking of LeBron James, I don't know if we've podcasted since the Cleveland Cavaliers became world NBA champs. We champs, dog. I just wanted to put that. We champs. You know what I mean?
Hey,
I done came
congratulations.
Yes, man. I came here with a champion's mentality. I'm not here to lose ever again. Shout out to LeBron. Shout out to Kyrie Irving with the step back. Day doesn't watch basketball, so he can't describe it.
I don't watch it either that much often. I watch either, but I'm just getting into it because I was telling you, now we're learning to play basketball, and that translates unbelievably well in the boxing.
I want to hear more about that too.
So I'm watching. My coach is like, you need to watch Kyrie Irving and what he's doing out there. I watched that game, and then some of those shots, and I'm like, I'm just learning how to do this standing still with nobody in my face at a world level, like air just in front of me, and I can't do it.
Yeah.
So it just gave me a real appreciation of the athleticism you have to play in the NBA.
Yeah.
And if you're athletic, why the heck, man? You don't make nothing in boxing, man. I had a real job till I was like, till maybe a year ago. No, 2 years. I haven't had a job in 2 years. And it's not like I'm balling. I just don't got to work.
Yeah.
Well, you do got to work, and part of your work, the reward is you get to knock motherfuckers out.
That's true.
That's got to feel good. What feels better, winning by KO or winning on the cards?
KO. Not even close.
Okay.
Because you know why? When you get to the cards, for me, it's like this anxiety. Like every single fight I've had, with the exception of that Jamal Woods. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, they can dick you on the cards.
That Jamal Woods was the only fight that guy didn't drop. So I never got this moment. But when you drop a guy and he gets up, at least I am sitting there in the corner going, just wave it off, ref, just wave it off. The fight can be over. I'm not so much worried that he's going to come back and win, because if I knock you down, they're like, I mean, until we get to the next level, you lost. Now, whether you stick around to the end or not is totally different to me.
Yeah.
But in terms of knocking the guy out versus the points, when it goes to that scorecard, you're always worried that maybe they didn't quite see it the way it really went.
Yeah.
But when you knock a guy out, no one can argue. That's it.
So
one in the hand.
What do you say to a man after you knocked him out?
Man,
like you see people in these boxing matches, they knock a dude out, they come up and they walk across him and they whisper something. What do you really? Because I would be the type of dude to be like, "Told you, bitch ass." Walk to the other corner.
I never talk to guys.
What I told you.
I never talk to guys after the fight. Or at least rather in the ring. I don't do it. and it has nothing to do with like an etiquette thing. My head's just spinning. There is so much going on between dealing with the commission and dealing with the doctor, and then the announcers got to announce. There's so much going on right after a fight. I'm just not thinking about him. I mean, he was the focal point of my attention for 6 to 8 weeks, and now he's gone.
Right.
So now I'm gone off him.
Yeah.
Now, afterwards, I always go and talk, chat. And some guys want pictures. You know, it happens.
Just knock me out. Fuck out of here.
Right. The only
I try to knock you out. Look, I mean, like take this selfie, and I hit you with a.
the only guy that was like, get the fuck out of here, was this cat Robert. Man, I hope I get his name right. Robert Hawkins from Philly.
Robert, real nigga Hawkins.
Like, oh man, like he had done time. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
real nigga. Like, I'm not taking no photographs with you.
I gotta go back to the block, nigga. That cat had a shit leak.
He didn't want any parts of talking afterwards. He was just like, whatever.
Yeah.
But everybody else is more or less like, no one makes it awkward. I haven't had anyone be outright aggressive. I fought a guy as an amateur in LA. He came from Jersey to fight, and he bitched about it a lot. But apparently I messed it up with some girls he brought to the fight. That was his real issue.
What are you bitching about that to you for?
Oh man, he
You
wasn't.
fucked it up. You lost the fight. What you mean? You telling me you lost the fight? Like
The story I heard is that they were back in the apartment, complaining like a motherfucker. He was complaining about how he was like, man, they said I was just running. And the girl was like, well, I mean, I guess you kind of were. And I was like, there's some girl get mad by the other. But nah, man, that after fight etiquette.
To a boxing.
No, you should not.
Yeah, I don't.
Oh man, I got a story about that. Nothing happened to me because I don't do it. I won't do it. But on top, now I got a girl now, which in many ways makes it even more serious.
Yeah, you can't ever come to the box.
But she loves going. There was a guy that came into our gym when I was an amateur, and he had won his first like 8 fights. He's pretty good too. He had a lot of potential. But this is how you know the sport ain't for everybody, and this is how you know that adversity is what decides how far you'll go, not success. They put him against this kid from the hill. And I've seen probably at this point in my life about 200 amateur boxing matches. Of those 200 amateur boxing matches, I can remember all of them that ended in stoppage. Like legit stoppage. Not the ref waved it off, but like knocked out. This kid got knocked out. He was complaining before the fight about how he had invited 3 girls and they all came to the fight. And they all didn't know about each other, so he had to sneak out the back now. So not only
Three different
why
flags.
would you do that?
Because they was listening to Pusha T.
That's the thing. It's not even how far you'll go in this field. How far are you going to go in life making dumbass decisions like that? Like, what?
That's not even a punchline. I mean, the girls were a good punchline, good part of. But so he sneaks out the back, embarrassed. Coach gets a call. About 3 days later, man, I don't think boxing's for me. Never heard again. This guy that already won 8 fights, mind you.
Yeah.
It's one thing if like you go get knocked out like that in your first fight. I get that, right? But if you win and you make a mistake, and in boxing is great because there's an immediate and intense negative feedback mechanism. When you make a mistake, you know it. And you got to correct it and hopefully get better. Now,
again, I know comedy is not the same, field or whatever, but they call it like, whenever you do a good show, you killed the crowd because it is a back and forth. It is adversarial to a certain point. You know what I mean? And it's the same read and react. If I'm up there and they're not, smiling, whatever, then I've got to be on my feet.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And switch gears in order to kind of get them in or whatever. And at some point though, on stage, you switch enough gears where you realize like this isn't like I'm not gonna get this. You know
and that's beautiful. Like I don't know anything about comedy, but what I really like about that mentality is that it automatically assumes that you are completely responsible, as it should be. Because I think one of the sure signs of failure are the ability to not or rather lack of ability to reach your potential is you don't take responsibility. So if you invite a bunch of people, you invite 20 people, they pay $20 to come in, that's only $400. But they gave up $20 and they gave it the time. Yeah. Now, if you mess up, that's cool. Just own the mess up and fix it for next time. Maybe you lose a little drop off, but you come back and you do better next time, And a lot of guys don't have that. So I like that.
you got to understand, people are not necessarily coming to see you win; they're coming to see you perform.
Exactly.
So you may not win.
They're actually coming to see you lose. And that's the
I'm
thing,
talking about people that
when they see your fight, you're 12-0.
Personally,
they
invite.
want you. No, yeah, personally, but I mean, because you have those people, and like your friends and your like, because like that saying, like they want you to see you do well, but not better than themselves.
Yes.
I mean, so when you're undefeated, like even whether it's comedy or whatever the hell, like I mean, like they come and like if you do fail, it's like I kind of figured that was going to happen anyway.
Like,
you see what I'm saying?
Right,
Yeah, I figured. I mean, and when you get to a point where you're at, you're 12-0. They do come to see you fail. And as comics, because the thing is that as a boxer, like they're coming to see boxing. They're a fan of the sport, right? So like you have people that are with comedy. We don't have people that are fans of, like we have a very small group of people in this particular region that are fans of our sport. You know what I mean? Most of them are people
just
that are
coming to see comedy.
They're coming because it was a cheap night, because like it's, they Googled it and it seemed like a good, you know what I mean? Like, and then they see local and they're like, that's probably going to be whack. Now this is, once you get to the Kevin Harts and the, Louis C.K.'s, that's a whole nother round.
They're paying to see you at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, they come to see you. You know what I mean? Like, but they're not just natural fans of that sport or whatever. So like when you get up there, they genuinely expect you to be shitty, and as a result the show is kind of like, I need to prove this, like I need to get up there and make it happen. You're not going to give me anything. You know what I mean?
That's what's cool about boxing at a certain level is that, and that same thing happens. They know you're a small local guy. They're not expecting you to be great, and then you keep doing better and better, and they're like, well, when are you going to lose? When are you going to lose? And then a magic shift happens. And this is, and to hold that thought, we'll pause that thought for a moment. My favorite part, because now I don't have to sell tickets. When I first started as a professional, I had to sell tickets because I had to cover my car, I had to cover my purse, I had to get paid, I had to cover the opponent coming in and fight me, insurance costs, right? Got to cover all that. So I get a small cut of the ticket, but I got to sell ticket to cover that.
Yeah.
So you have to be a salesman, and part of that, I believe this. I don't know much about selling. I don't know anything about selling, but I know being likable is never a disadvantage. So
networking, man.
If you can be likable, and the thing I miss most, I was just telling my girl about that because she asked me some questions about some guys looking for tickets, and I just had this anxiety reaction, and I had to apologize to her because I kind of was a dick. But when the thing I miss most is sitting down with people who are interested in the fight and just having a conversation, just being likable and getting to know them, because you're right, it's not so different. We are not selling a product of boxing at the very beginning of the sport. We are selling ourselves, and we're building a fan base.
Small business.
And so when you approach it with that mentality, I don't even know how to be a dick anymore. I talk hard at home, like, man, I wish these would try to get I don't know how to, man, because why? Because look, even if you want to come see me lose, that's an extra ass in the seat.
Best one,
so
yeah.
when they take a good picture, that's not an empty seat, man. Like, so there's some, you can take something from everybody.
Yeah.
At all. You learn to deal with abuse. I'm sure you guys have learned that way more than I have. You learn to deal with people being assholes.
They punching you.
But I mean, it has to. I mean, but you have to win in order for that to be a good thing. Because I mean, yeah, they might have paid for the seat and came to see you lose. But if you do actually lose, how much is that $20 if you're not going to make another $20 off?
Yeah,
of them?
exactly.
You know
So
so you do have to win in order to keep it. And I would imagine that would have some sort of motivational effect into moving forward.
I mean, probably not as much as it should. Because for me, the whole sport, what I love about boxing is the way it has forced me to develop as a person. For example, I know we on drinking partners, and I love beer.
And you ain't drinking.
You gotta understand, I love beer, man. I love beer.
But
right?
you can't fuck
I love
with
it so much that I still drink non-alcoholic beer I buy from the beer
You
distributor.
really love
Yeah.
it.
I drink, like,
If
Yeah,
my
you're
girl
in it
brought
for
me
love.
some non-alcoholic beer at the crib, I'd throw that shit at her car.
but I understand.
Love that is.
But I have to be
You
the
in the
best
beehive of beer.
version. I got to be the best version of myself every time. So I haven't drank in like 31 months or something, man. And
Congratulations.
Hey, congrats on that,
Like,
man.
that
If we
is-
could get some special effects claps in here for you, I'm going to keep drinking beers in front of you just to test you.
oh man, you know what? I don't even miss it, man, because
Well,
back
your
to that-
pockets is better. I know that. Anytime I meet a motherfucker that don't drink anymore, I'm like, how much motherfucking money do you have to just do dumb shit?
When I
Like
thought-
right now, you're wearing a strawberry V-neck, and that used to be
wait.
beer money. You know what I mean? Like at some point, that
Don't
was.
let him come at your clothes.
You know what though?
Don't let. No, you described it as a strawberry V-neck. It's a grown ass
It's-
man who
first
gets
off-
paid
first
to
off,
Was it
it's
a
pink.
maroon?
It's
Is it?
pink.
It's pink.
It's pink. Strawberries ain't the right kind of pink. This is real pink.
I was trying to be
What did
nice
that
about
contribute
it.
to-
I was calling it a pink.
He's wearing a strawberry V-neck.
I just know
was
that
beer money. Come on,
I
Jay.
know that. I know that
That was a
dyes.
shot.
I know that dyes are a little bit more expensive. You know what I mean? And it's a nice material. It seems like an express. It seems like that used to be beer money that he's turned into now strawberry.
In terms of that money thing, right? That was never the
that's-
motivation, right? To save money. But I'll tell you what, when I thought I could, because when I still had, because I think every person that stops drinking goes to this. They think they can go out and still do shit with regular people at the bar, and then they realize, man, I really hate the bar if I ain't drinking, right? So I was still trying to go out with my friends. I love singing karaoke.
I really enjoy karaoke.
I haven't done it in a little while. I've been busy, but like that was like the only reason you get me in a bar. Let me tell you something. I remember how much I would spend just on me because I would buy friends drinks.
Once you get a little tipsy, the money.
you-
Yeah, it don't matter. Everybody, line them up.
One coffee of this size. I got a 24 ounce in my hand. This was a $2 coffee, and it just lasted me 3 hours, and that's me sipping it kinda slow. At the bar, though, man, I wonder how you gonna nurse a drink for 3 hours, man? What?
Pre-game, that's about it.
Let me tell you something.
gotta, if you pre-game.
being 22 and not having a lot of money. Oh yeah, there've been nights where I
man.
went to the bar with $12 in my account, which means I can get 2 Coronas with a tip.
Ayo.
I got a
Oh, you
Corona
knew
when I got there.
They used to have the and I swear to God, there was a point in my life where I woke up. I might have been like 23, and I woke up and I didn't know what day of the week it was, except that I was like, wait. H2O was a club down on the strip. So I was like, they got 50-cent shots tonight, so it must be Wednesday.
50-cent
They had
shots?
50. They had 50 cents drinks, like they were like little well drinks, and like I would just get it on the rocks, and I would pay 50 cent for. I was like, oh, it's 50 cent Wednesdays at Matrix. Like that's what I.
Yo,
it
they
was
used
crazy.
to have the $1 nights at the spot in Station Square. I think it was Margarita Mama's. Mm-hmm. I'd go in there, get 7.
Margaritaville used to have the 50 cent beers.
Margaritaville,
Whatever
Matrix
it was.
down there. They would have like the dollar.
I'd have 7 cranberry and vodkas on it.
Because you start learning, look, man, like drinking will teach you a lot about money if you let it
Yeah,
in the right
it
way and the
will.
wrong way. Well, back when we was like real broke, but we just had to go to the club, not knowing better, being 22.
Because you didn't have to have money to get girls. You just had to
Exactly.
be at the club drinking.
Yeah,
We
be
get it- we-
fancy enough.
The
Like,
bottom
with your
shelf.
words.
I didn't understand why they called it bottom shelf for years after, because I didn't realize that I was looking literally at the bottom stuff on the shelf. But anything,
And that hangover.
we would say, don't get nothing if it don't come in plastic, because if it come in plastic, you know it's cheap. Oh my god, Vladdy,
Oh god, we had I grew up on Vladdy and Natty Ice.
Natty Ice, man.
I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. I'm a little bit of a bougie guy. I've never purchased bottom shelf liquor for myself.
You never
at
purchased
liquor
the
store.
plastic?
Never purchased the plastic, but I have drunk well drinks at the bar because they was doing the $1 well drink.
Yeah.
So I've done that. But like, if I was buying a bottle, I was because my whole thing was if I'm drinking liquor, right, and I'm gonna get fucked up, I'm gonna have the best liquor that I can afford. I don't even drink vodka, but when I was drinking
my whole
vodka,
mentality
I was a Goose
is-
Belvedere guy.
My whole mentality is alcohol is alcohol.
Well,
Listen, because I was in a fraternity, so we're throwing a lot of the parties.
Yeah, I was
too,
about to say
so
you had that.
I'm making money off the party.
Oh man,
I'm
yeah.
spending $30 not just for better liquor, but I'm that dude in that party. What? You got
yes,
a bunch of
it-
19, 20-year-olds in my crib. I'm throwing a party, and I got a bottle of Belvedere that I'm walking around with.
Well, see, for me, the progression was it was the only thing I could afford at a certain point. Because my freshman year, I ate oodles and noodles and hot dogs for like a good until that meal plan kicked in the second semester or whatever. So sometimes it was the only thing I could afford. But then I was going to these other Francis and the other, and I'm seeing that they're making all this money off of this bullshit. You go to the bars, and once you get the money mentality, now I'm buying cases of Latimore and selling them for like $5 an ounce. Yeah, I mean,
They also is a drug dealer.
so like now
Who sells liquid by the ounce?
bars, every brewery, our podcast is based off the ounce.
More bounced to the ounce. I'm not even supposed to sing that because I'm
But
an alpha. Like,
now that I
can't-
drink, like it's not just to make money off of it. I like what I drink.
Yeah.
and
I mean, you
Which
can
is
go
a
lower
transition.
shit.
I think if you survive to your 30s drinking, right, you end up in jail or you know, an AA meeting or something
We've all
crazy.
been in jail.
I think what happens is you start going, man, I've been doing this shit too long to not enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, you
Like-
yeah. I mean, you. It's any drug. You have relationships with it, and some people are able because even like you have caffeine.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And like you have a relationship with that has worked out for you, and you're happy with your relationship with that drug. You're not some people who wake up and are spending like $30 a day on cup after cup of Starbucks and getting into the whole thing and like you can go overboard on caffeine, you can go overboard on nicotine, you can go overboard on any drug that you have.
Go overboard on strawberry V-neck.
You can't have a large enough collection where somebody be like, maybe you want to get like a dark red one,
Maybe a
man.
mauve, a taupe. You want to try a taupe? I'm gonna keep it real. I would look like you if I didn't drink. I go to the gym. I would have bigger arms, except for sometimes I'm not finishing this workout because I drank the night before.
Man,
I keep it 100.
I would have 20s on a Hummer, maybe. I mean, and I hate to admit that, man, but you figure after like 18 years of drinking,
It's all about investing in what makes you happy.
Exactly.
And the most successful people, the things that make them happy are more positive things. And I'm not saying drinking is not positive. We've actually turned drinking into a major positive.
That is-
Turn it up. Here's the thing for me.
The loveliness of it is like at some point, like through my 20s, people were like, "What do you want to do? You should make money doing what you love to do." And I was like, "I like to talk shit and get drunk." And here we are. And I
the
linked
thing
up
for
with
me,
another nigga that was like, "I like to do the same thing."
I tell this all the time to guys, man. I think a lot of guys are like this in general. Having a girl has
helps.
made it so much easier because I've realized something. And I think there's a lot of dudes like this more than they admit. They drinking because they see girls drinking and they think they got to be part of that. Not think they want to be. I mean, shit, I want to be part of that scene when I was not in a relationship. But now when I'm like, my girl's introverted and she likes hanging out at home, so I'm like, what the hell am I going to get out of being twisted in the bar? Like nothing. I'm happy home.
I think a lot of people drink to alter their reality, right?
Yes.
But when you have a good woman, like I got a good woman, your reality is actually pretty cool.
And it's great. And when I do drink again, because I'm not a lifelong guy, when I do drink again, I'm only really interested in drinking
only
with
drink
her,
a
maybe
lot
drink with
with
my
Day.
home. Yeah, that's the other thing. Or
I
drink with
drink
your
a
boy.
lot with Day.
I talk to some cats and they're like, yeah, man, I don't drink anywhere outside my home or not with my friends, like with my close people.
You see that? It's weird, and I think that's a Midwestern mentality because you're from Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm from Cleveland. I think that's a Midwestern mentality. I joke with people all the time because I got a lot of friends from New York, DC, and all that. They love to go to these high-end clubs and do all that. I'm like, listen, man. My old heads when I was growing up, what I saw was they drank at the crib. They built a bar in their
Pre-game.
basement. They drank at the crib, like,
Yeah.
and we would have the most amazing parties with family, getting fucked up at the crib because everybody's comfortable. You can stay if you need to. And what I also learned about my old heads, which I do now, is you find your drink. I don't drink a whole bunch of shit.
What Cat Williams
I
say?
drink Hennessy.
You take Henny?
I'm a
He
Henny
might
guy.
take memory.
I'm a Henny guy. But I'm a Henny guy, so if you catch me drinking at the crib, I'm drinking Hennessy.
Yeah.
I do the craft brew thing now because I'm used to that, and that's more of a social thing,
Yeah.
And it's good beer. I'm a Henny guy. If I go out, since they don't carry Henny in a lot of bars in Pittsburgh, which I think is a crime, I do Crown. But that's it. I'm not getting a mojito. I'm not ordering no crazy shit. I'm not looking at your drink menu.
Because now you know.
Getting this
Now
$12
you enjoy.
cocktail. I ain't drinking no
Yeah.
fucking cocktail. I want my liquor to be brown with a little bit of ice.
I think when you're young, you're drinking for other people, and the older you get, you start drinking for
You want
yourself.
your twist.
Yes,
And at that point, now
exactly,
it's like, oh, you don't have any. I just don't want to drink.
Yeah,
Like,
you get
find
to
your
a point,
twist.
yeah, because I'm not risking my hangover tomorrow
shit to
morning
do tomorrow.
on your shit just because like
I had kids,
it's
fam.
like yeah, true. We had
Kids,
shit,
I gotta wake up and
we
fucking.
got shit to do.
My daughter's gonna wake me up at 6 in the morning and say
No,
she
my
gotta
own.
go potty. Like I gotta be able to get up and carry her to the potty. Like
Like now, like I enjoy because there's a transition when you first get into, you're drinking just to get fucked up, and you're drinking just to be a part of the crowd, or whatever.
you're drinking
you start to get older or whatever, and like you develop a taste, and you start to have more money, and that's why I love my 30s. You guys are just getting into your 30s. I'm 4 years into my 30s, and like it was crazy, like because like I feel so much better, because in my 20s. It was just like wilding out, this and the other. Now in my 30s, I have the money to drink well, to have fun well. Whether it's drinking or, you know, having a good time, you know, parks or whatever. You have enough money to actually enjoy life. Yeah. You have enough sense to cut it off before it becomes an issue. You know what I mean? Like, and it's the best of both worlds, you know, moving forward. And like when it comes to drinking, I like a good beer, I like a good whiskey, and like you said, you have your own shit. Like the shit
find
you go.
your twist.
You're not going to somebody's house like, oh man, we got to go over to this guy's house because he got the liquor tonight.
Yeah,
like, it's a very different.
Yeah, we all have our own shit. We're all sharing.
You're
like I said, we
bringing
feel
your own liquor now.
Yeah,
like if I go to your house, I'm bringing my because I want to make sure I got the shit that
you like, and then you might try some whatever. And when I go to a bar, like I like whiskeys, so I'll go and try other whiskey. But I'm not drinking vodkas and this and that or whatever. Like I
vodka.
stick with, you know what I mean?
I don't like two things in life. I don't like people who wear sandals who are males.
I do not like males and sandals at all.
If you're a dude who wears sandals, fuck you.
I cannot.
If you're a dude who wears jeans and sandals, double fuck you. Like,
man.
what is wrong with you? Why you got long pants with your toes out? You're covering the wrong things.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's one. Two, vodka. Get that out of here, man.
You know what? I grew up with vodka,
Get vodka
only
the fuck
because
outta here,
my
man.
very first time like actually drinking, I didn't know anything
Everybody
about shots.
drinks vodka at some point.
I didn't know anything about shots, and I ended up taking like 13 shots of vodka and
Why
then
did you
like
do that?
5 shots of this cinnamon liqueur shit or whatever. Like, it was a firewater or whatever. Yeah, it was something like that, but it was a cheaper version. So I had about 18 shots or whatever in that one. Because with shots, there's a delayed effect or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, and I didn't drink at that point. I didn't know anything about alcohol. So I'm just like, I thought it was just going to hit me. I was going to take a shot and then boom, I'm going to be fucking like fucked up. And I was like,
It ain't weed.
No, yeah, exactly. It ain't weed. So I was just like, I ain't feeling nothing yet. Let's round it up again. And then, you know, I took like 18 shots in like an hour and a half. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm feeling it now. This is going to be great. I threw up at least like 6-7 times, like woke up butt naked on the floor with a pencil in my ass and shaving cream.
No way.
Like, my boys, like I had fucking passed out. I threw up in the pool, on the side of the pool, in the living room, on the side of the steps. They picked me up. I was covered in puke. They threw me in the shower, like stripped me down, threw me in the shower.
Like
whatever.
you're a prisoner or
Yeah,
something.
like threw me in the shower or whatever. I woke up. I ran. I don't remember the shower. I jumped out of the shower, ran into like a bedroom, and passed out butt ass naked on the floor. And they were like, "Yo, we got to wake this nigga up." And they were like, "Well, let's fuck with him because that's what we did. We used to fuck with each other." So they like put shaving cream in my ass. And put a pencil.
Oh, man.
It was just like in my butt cheeks. I woke up. I remember waking up on the floor, wet and naked, with my butt cheeks tingling. Like, what the fuck is going on? And I look back.
First off,
and they're like,
first of all, from this point forward, Dave Bracey has to share a drunken story on every episode. Every episode has to cultivate with you sharing a drunken story. Second of all, I just want you to know that shit was gay. I don't give a fuck about your intentions. You do not mess with another man's asshole. What is wrong with you?
"Oh no! Let's be very clear. My asshole was never a part of that story. The ass crack.
You said a pencil in
the
your
ass
ass.
crack is a little different. Asshole, I gotta fight a nigga. If
We're
it
gonna agree to
penetrates
disagree, but
the sphincter area.
all you
The
listeners,
sphincter and the cheek are
all you
two
listeners,
different.
please, if you're listening, we would love to hear your thoughts.
Truth. Right
I'm
in.
voting that was gay, and I'm not saying it was gay on your part. I'm just saying that was a gay thing for your friends to do.
Yeah, it definitely was. It crossed.
It's
the,
definitely
that's something
it was
that
at least
crosses
metro.
the line.
It was
Like,
at
you gotta
least
talk
metro
about
in
that,
nature.
like-
Yeah.
You got to talk about that, like, yo, fam. Like, at what point did you make the decision that my ass was to be played with? Like, my ass is not to be played with, and it was shaving cream and a pencil. Like, what? First of all, those two items should never come up when we're drinking. Should
That's
never.
a damn good point. Like,
What the fuck?
It was the weirdest, and 34 years of my life. Still,
And
I
that
remember
is-
that moment.
Don't
like,
hang out with them
What
anymore.
the fuck is?
Don't have me around these dudes. Wait, don't have me coming to your cookouts and these dudes is at your cookout. Like, don't have me around.
You just hung out with them niggas. Yeah, it's not
okay, well, I'm done with them.
Do not pass out around the motherfuckers or some shit.
Well, tell them that our relationship is over. We ain't kicking it no more. I'm not with none of that. Listen, if I wake up, if you fucked with any of my lower extremities, dog, me and you got to get our Latimore on. We got to get our Latimore on. We have to have a stare down. I'm gonna give you 6 to 8 weeks to prepare, but I'm coming to knock you the fuck out. I don't want to win on the cards. I got to knock you out. So we got to hit you with a couple rapid fire questions.
Okay, rapid fire.
Very quickly, describe for our listeners who may not be knowledgeable the movement from the amateur ranks into a professional, this professional spirit of boxing. So how does that work?
So aside from you decide you want to be professional, right? It's not like a draft in other sports. You just wake up and go, you know what? I'm tired of being amateur. Some guys, they never go amateur, right? And that's not a good thing. I'm not a fan of that school. There are very few successes that have done that, but that's generally the thing. What you would do, you fill out some paperwork, you say, all right, we're going to go. You get a physical, you get your license, and you can fight professional. As far as the difference between the two realms, the amateur fights, you wear headgear, the gloves are bigger, but the padding is around the hand to cushion the blow more, and you wear a shirt. In the professional ranks, no headgear, you wear a shirt as an amateur.
You just putting the gloves on, basically.
Yeah.
And you got your jeans on.
True. You want to pick up game of boxing real quick?
And in the pro ranks, the gloves are smaller, 10 ounces, and that padding is around the wrist. It is more of an instrument of transmitting force than to protect your hand. And
that's the physicist coming in.
There it is. So, next rapid fire question. What is new in the world of physics? What's exciting?
New in the world of
physics is one of my favorite subjects growing up, man. Like, just now chemistry.
He ain't said nothing physical.
Chemistry was a little bit more, and I love, the atoms and how everybody are at. But physics was just like,
Well, the big thing this year was we found traces of gravity waves.
Gravity and the black holes and whatnot.
So I'll make this as non-physics as possible and abridge it. So everything that moves and makes a wave, right? And we have a wave equation for that. So I guess Einstein predicted as part of his theory of general relativity, which describes or rather reconciles a lot of issues we have when we start dealing with the world. The world is the same 99% of the time. Like the rules that work high work low, fast, slow, until you start going 10% of the speed of light, subatomic level. Things get really cold or things get really big. The rules don't quite work the way we predicted for them.
And that's what's crazy though, because like you were saying, like with physics, it's like you have to make sure that everything works on both a small and a large level. And that's like the basis of physics, but also it's the like Achilles heel of physics is that because if it gets too large or too small,
things
it doesn't
act different.
Work.
So like that's like the big thing everyone's trying to unify rather quantum physics and mechanics, quantum mechanics, and classical physics and mechanics. Theory, so that's what they're trying to do. But the big thing is that we found gravity waves, and gravity waves were, I believe, the last part of Einstein's theory of relativity that were predicted that we should be able to measure the waves that a thing creating gravity, or rather a thing with a lot of gravity creates. So now we can trace the location, or rather that's the hope that we can trace the location of black holes, for example.
So now with this, is it so much...
This ain't a rapid fire question.
No.
This is a question with the sequence of questions thereafter.
That's all physics is, man. You
go ahead,
No, you're not a physicist. Don't be like, you open the door.
I'm a fan.
He's a fan of physics.
So is it so much a thing that... Because these are things that are going over, like... Is it the instruments? Do you think that like in the future we'll have instruments that can like basically prove everything that we have theorized?
Tell Dave
or is it imaginative of an event happening?
Instrumentation is a hard thing because you can't prove something exists without the instrumentation. This was a big thing about finding the gravity waves. We had to use what we were these things called LIGO detectors, and are these giant interferometers. Interferometers are used for light, and we figured out a way to use them to measure gravity. And now I'd imagine we can create a tool eventually to do that. But yes, you can't really determine the nature of a thing existing if you don't have a way to measure that. But you can't measure that thing until you know it exists. It's kind of a weird catch-22, like think of a thermometer. All you're doing when you measure a thermometer is you're measuring temperature. That's like the late thing. What you're really measuring is the state of the system, how much energy is in it. Low energy, low temperature. High energy, high temperature. And you need something to compare, so you need mercury, for example. When that state gets excited, it changes to level, or rather, that state is level, and then it changes to match how the other state is. So it rises when the temperature is, or it lowers on the other one. But that's all we're doing. We're figuring out a way to measure the physical world. It's called physics. Yeah. And so the more we learn about the physical world, we eventually come up with something to measure it. Eventually.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. They say styles make fights. True or false?
Very true.
Very true.
100% true. But I'll say this: you cannot be stylish. This is a favorite. This is an Latimore original, so you take this. Is it technical mastery comes before the stylistic expression? You don't get to have a style until you have mastered the basics. Once you understand the basics, then you can go. You see it in chess. You pretty much play chess the same way until you're rated about 2200. And then your style comes out because now you got the basics.
Now you can play around with it.
I don't want to say the basics. It's like they say in martial arts: being a black belt doesn't mean you're a master. That means you understand the basics now. Now you can really learn.
You can make your own style.
So styles make fights, but the only reason styles make fights because when the styles start to differ, that is because they have mastered many things.
What would you name your style?
Oh man!
If you became, so say it was like kung fu. I don't know if boxing is the same way. I don't know if there's like masters and dojos and boxing or whatever. But if you had a dojo and you were a boxing master and it was like, oh, this is Ed Latimore's style or whatever, what would you name your style?
Man, I take a lot from the peekaboo style that Tyson did. I take a lot from it. One because I'm shorter than average, so it works. But you get everything. You get the peekaboo style. You got the Philly shell guys right behind the shoulder, a la Floyd Mayweather. We see that a lot. I don't know if there's a particular word for this style, but the way Mexicans fight is very different. They are these guys are like Cro-Magnons, man. They can take shots.
Mexicans fight hard.
They can take shots.
Pack a house tight style.
Yeah. Okay, first of all, we got to get that removed from the podcast.
Clown car style.
Okay.
So
all right, moving on.
No, hold on. No, what would you name your if somebody were going to say, because you said the peekaboo style, or whatever. Yeah. If somebody asked you like, what would you name yours? If you had the chance to name a style of boxing, what would you name your style?
Python style, man.
Python?
Yeah.
Yeah? There's no pythons out there?
My whole mentality is keep stacking up little advantages, and over time, the advantage, maybe you'll survive around one, but you will not survive, because that's why you got to be in shape, so you got to know what you're doing, and that's why you need body control. Body control is so important, at least to me, because if you have body control and conditioning, you can continue to execute your plan, the same plan you came in with the first round, because everybody's the best fighter in the world in the first round, at least the best they'll ever be. If you can be that same fighter in the fourth round, you'll win many fights simply because of attrition. The other guy cannot keep up.
Yeah. So basically, use your body to squeeze them down
keep
slowly.
Squeezing, keep taking your advantage. And keep wearing him down, keep trapping him, keep taking away his ability, and eventually he'll go, man, this guy's still attacking me the same way, but I am spent like I should be.
If there was one fight you can see between two fighters, what would it be? Doesn't matter what class.
You mean like all time?
All time. You can boxing. No matter the era. If you can see two fighters at their peak.
At their peak. I would love, I guess I seen that fight did happen. I'd love to see Duran versus Golovkin. Roberto Duran versus Roberto Duran versus Triple G.
Okay.
First of all, Roberto Duran is my favorite fighter. I'm so happy they got a movie come out this summer, Hands of Stone, with De Niro, which means it's gonna be good because they went and got a real director. So I'm excited about that though. But I love Duran, man.
Okay. Yeah. Triple G versus Duran. Now, I will say I'm impressed by that selection. That means you're a real boxer. I would have never said. Most people be like, Ali versus Tyson.
Yeah,
like,
that's
big names. But that would be a very, very, very entertaining.
Be a great fight. Because because what Duran does so well, Duran's a fighter, first of all. There's boxers and there's fighters. Duran's both, but he's a fighter first, and he will make it a fight. I mean, have you ever watched? It sounds like you know the game a little bit.
A little bit. I ain't gonna say I'm out here, with
but you might have seen when he fought Leonard.
I did see that.
That is a beautiful fight, and it was a close fight, but he did not give up, and he fought, and he kept taking the inside and just brought the aggression. Golovkin is probably
See, I haven't seen a lot of Triple G. I keep hearing about him.
very, very smooth, smart guy, and just great temperament. When you have a good temperament, you can do a lot
He's fucking
too.
people up, which is
Because everything he throws is on balance and with control. Everything, no matter where he throws it from, it's on balance.
So what's the best boxing match that you've seen?
In person,
I
or
just saw that Thurman versus Porter. That was a hell of a fight.
That was a hell of a fight. The best. Okay, so I like breaking this down in terms of like evenly matched overall and exciting damage. Castillo and Corrales.
Okay.
Fantastic fight.
Okay.
And he comes back and he wins too. He was out. He had got knocked down. That was a great fight. In terms of action, I don't think you can do better than Duran and we just talked about Duran and Leonard.
Leonard, yeah.
That's a great one. I think if you want to just talk about sheer excitement and not really caring too much about the skill, but heart, Gotti Ward won. Gotti Ward won round 9. That is the definition of heart in that round. I mean, right there.
When's the first time have you ever touched the canvas? Have you ever been knocked down?
No, thank goodness.
Oh, can't answer
Still
that.
hasn't happened.
You've never been knocked down. Yeesh.
Oh, I mean, but here's mine to everybody goes, man, I ain't never got no. Man, it might happen. But so I'll get to find out about myself. I don't want it to happen.
You ain't gotta be humble here. You ain't never been knocked down. You 12-0 sign. Like the professional.
In my whole amateur career, in my whole pro career, no, I never.
You've never been in the ring and had a fuck ton of people to pay to see you and get knocked down.
No, I've gotten
crazy as
counts.
fuck.
I've gotten counts. I got counted once as an amateur. I got counted as a pro.
So how do you get counted without getting knocked down?
There are certain states, West Virginia being one of them, that have something called a standing 8 rule, where the ref can go, okay, you need a standing 8. It's like you got knocked down, but you didn't.
Yeah.
So they thought I got cracked a little harder than I did.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't hurt, but he gave me. I got 2 standing 8s actually, and still won that fight by about 5 points.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yeesh.
Damn.
So you got a new fight coming up. Where's your next fight?
This one will be at Rivers Casino down right in the heart of Pittsburgh.
Word up.
And what is today? The 3rd. So we're looking at 12 days. So just under 2 weeks.
Okay.
Fighting a guy, Joshua Tufts, 19-1. He is. He's not bad. I look at him on tape. I think his body mechanics are flawed. I don't think he has the control and position, and he does not hit like me. And I don't think he's fighting when it hits like me either. So that's significant because even though he has that record, and that's a great record, and he's fought some guys, he hasn't fought any like. You rank them by letters. I would say he hasn't fought anyone higher than a B-, not even really C+ guy. When he fights me, unless I'm 100, and I always leave that possibility that I'm off in my analysis of him, the little tape I seen, looking at who he fought, how he won, etc. Looking at the one guy to beat him, that I can't imagine him lasting more than I don't think I'll need more than 5 rounds, and that's not, that's in terms of that humility thing. That's not humility. I'm just looking at okay, I know what I can do, and I know what he's open for, and I know how he moves and what he's going to try and do because I'm looking at what he's done so far, and I know what I'm strong and weak against, and I just it's going to be hard because he's going to get hit harder than he's ever been hit before because when I hit, I'm on balance, and I'm really big on that.
Yeah. Wow.
So
you heard it here first. 5 rounds. He ain't
If I lose, this will be the silliest thing ever. But I
look at it like,
cool.
like when you start counting around, that's Babe Ruth shit right there.
Well, I'm
like,
not. You gotta understand that if I could like break it down perfectly, I would give a range. I would go 3, 2, 5. That is what I would
so
say.
you also lessen the amount of rounds that he will last. In that
But
range. Could go.
that's a high number.
The only statement I'll
ceiling.
make definitively is I cannot imagine how the fight goes a full 8 rounds. If this was a 6-round fight, I could see I would give a significant probability that it could make it to the end, because when you know that you only have one round left and you can start doing some interesting things like getting on your bicycle, as they call it, moving around the ring, protect yourself if you get hit. But with what I know how to do now and throw shots in combination and be in control and balance and defend myself, more importantly, that is a long amount of time for him to be able to survive that kind of damage. In other words.
This is crazy. We're talking about how you're going to dismantle another human being. Like it's just
That's
like
pretty awesome.
And he
makes you the coolest guy in the room.
He doesn't even know this. Like he's just somewhere in the world right now, and you're just like, yeah, I'm just gonna.
I mean, he might.
It is, and he's gonna hear it, and he's like, oh, damn, he knew it was gonna happen. Like I couldn't imagine being the dude that you're talking about right now, and somehow be like, hey, did you hear this cast? They mentioned your name, and they're like, what? And they go on to listen to this cast, and they hear you just. Predict.
Well, here's the cool thing about fighting.
Last 60% of the fight.
Here's the cool thing about fighting, right?
Like if I got my ass whooped and then there was a pre-recorded tape of somebody, and it isn't even like on hype. Like, hey, I'm gonna fuck that nigga. He's just like, well, and he just very, calmly and methodically just breaks down how he's gonna whip your ass.
That means he's gonna come in with a plan and he's coming to execute. I think that's the scariest person to fight, is somebody who's coming to execute.
And that's what the 6 to 8 weeks is for. When I move levels and keep going up, everybody's gonna come fight that way. And if they don't, they won't make it. Or they won't be in a position to fight me in the first place, because they would not have made it. So, but the cool thing about fighting is the fight is already decided. The outcome. I don't know it. He doesn't know it. We don't know it. But the outcome's already decided.
Well, you can say the same thing about life. I mean, we won't get all into that, but like,
you're right.
Nature,
that
nurture,
philosophy,
physics, determinism, the whole,
Don't let him get on that. Lord, please.
But so where can the people find you? How can they stay up to date with you? How can they know when your next fight's coming up? How can they support?
I live on social media. I mean, you know it.
Oh, I know. I mean, you write as well, and that's the thing. Like, he boxes, he writes, he gives jewels of knowledge,
I
and
love
then he
writing
beats
so much.
people with his bare hands. So, but how can they find you, man?
Right on Twitter, man, at Ed Latimore, EDLATIMORE. And on Facebook, Ed Latimore, same thing. I'm Ed Latimore everywhere. And I never really liked calling myself Ed when I was younger, but now it's just easier to say. So now I'm stuck with it.
You can't type it out, too long or whatever. Google the nigga, Google.
That's right. You can Google. It's right there, too. Everything.
Ed Latimore, Well, we want to thank you for coming out, man. This has been
thank you for having me, man. You guys are entertaining as hell, man. Smart, entertaining guys. Those are the best conversations.
Well, thank you, man. I mean, like I said, having a physicist / vet. We didn't even get into the vet, and there's a lot.
There's so much you can go.
We can go on and on. I mean, and we will. So if you're listening, like again, please follow him on social media, man. Like, and you might even catch a back and forth between the two of us, and it's always entertaining and enlightening.
Always.
And Ed stepping his game. He's been getting in on the Twitters. I see a couple.
Listen, here's what we're gonna start doing. We're gonna start. Listen, when you listen to our cast, let us know what you think about it on Twitter. Hit us up at PartnersPod on Twitter. Let us know you got any further questions. Hit us up. We can get those questions to the guests. We can start some interaction going on.
True. We can tag these guys. They all on Twitter.
They all
tag
there.
them. We can have it. You can join the conversation.
It don't have to stop because we hit the stop button here. Let's keep it going.
You can keep the conversation going on any of the social media, and anybody that we have on here is more than welcome to accept more questions and have a longer conversation about anything that goes on this podcast. So, don't be a fan. I mean, you think, when in my work I'm going, getting shit faced, going to the club or whatever. Let me throw in some drinking partners. You can wake up the next morning and have a conversation with us.
I'll start it here. When you hear this podcast, let me know what your mega fight would be. Your favorite fight that you would see. Hashtag, you heard it here. I don't know. What's the hashtag going to be? Doesn't matter. Just hit up Partners Pod and say what your mega fight would be. And Latimore's going to chime in and tell you why his fight was better.
There it is.
I'll do it too. I love talking. I love talking boxing, man. I'm happy to have something I love as much. That's why I say I hope that everybody in life can find something I love as much as boxing, physics, writing, and my girlfriend. That's pretty much.
He did it well. You are definitely an adult, my friend. He made sure that he went. He's about to go home right now.
This is a smart
This is
man.
gonna come out in a couple of weeks.
You can't not have liquor and not have a woman. Like, you gotta keep one. So
you gotta have one. That is so true.
I love how you broke up with a girl and immediately went to beating up dudes. That's how frustrating. That's how frustrating you women are. If you take away one thing from this podcast, is that you women are so fucking frustrating that after we deal with y'all, we just want to go punch people in the
on
face.
His goddamn face.
Hey, let them know where they can find us.
Hey, we are Drinking Partners. If you're looking for us, you can find us on Facebook, IG, and Twitter under Partners Pod. You can find us on drinkingpartners.com/partnerspod. And you can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Libsyn, and Google Play under Drinking Partners.
Hey, and as always, we want to thank the guest, man, for coming through, blessing us with some jewels, spending his time with us. And you know the slogan, Drinking Partners is the crew, Epicast is the family, and we out here.
It was fun, man.
That was a good one.
Epicast.